So the as far as how the system picks up the individual differences, there's a couple of important things to understand. The first is the 2D picture that we start with is just the beginning. It's actually a 4D picture that is being created here. And so of this two-dimensional circle, you might be right on the outer perimeter of that circle, as opposed to on the same line, but in closer to the middle. If you're an activator right on the perimeter of the circle, you'll be hardcore activator, like really fiery, really competitive. And then, but if you're an activator with other features that actually bring you in closer to the center, then you'll share more traits with other people. And I think you may remember from the Circos picture. And if you're a crusader, like Kyle's the crusader with a prolactin gene. So he's really nurturing and really nice compared to other crusaders, because he's got this little bit of prolactin that sort of comes across from the Guardian. So he's actually closer into the middle of the circle, so he shares more traits. And so the program actually picks that up. And so you don't need to worry about changing anything. This is where we only teach the biotrends for teaching purposes. It helps us understand where disease is driven from if you know their biotrend. However, everyone is unique, and the profile that you'll see is unique as well. So I'll have a 75 who's the same as me, who will have a different brain and will have a different readout of the different thoughts that go through their head, and they'll have different foods that are designed for them too. So even people on exactly the same number on the circle will actually have a different output because it varies in and out of the circle. And then if you imagine that circle then becomes a cylinder, and all of your data points actually create a cloud, a very unique cloud within the cylinder. And that's where the outputs are driven from. So if you understand the biotrends, it helps you understand the natural trends. That's why we're biotrends. But the individuality is actually accounted for in the measures and in the questionnaire, which makes it a lot more specific to you.
And you'll still see in that individuality, like Cam and I, both crusaders, different, but you'll still see the overall trends of a crusader play out in both of us, with slight variance on that with the prolactin and everything else. But you'll still see those major trends that we teach is pretty damn accurate throughout. So
he'd like to think he's this hardline crusader, but it's not really the case. That's he's a bit of a softie. Yeah. So what else have we got? So other questions.